Hey friends, so it's starting to dawn on me, something that should have been obvious, but it's becoming clearer now, is that now that my book is done, I no longer have the clarity that I had when I had a book to work on, right? When I had like one major task and one main thing on my mind, one thing on my plate, which, as stressful as it was clarifying because I didn't have to think about what I'm gonna do, right? So when I wake up every day, I'm like, I gotta finish my book, and I guess I got to decide, which part of my book do I want to work on, which chapter do I, and even then, I guess choosing between chapters, sections, acts was a bit of a tedious process, but you do act 1, then you do act 2, then you do act 3, then you do act 4, and you do act 5, and you kind of do an overview again, do all the quotes, do all the summaries. Like, it's fairly, a book is a linear thing. Even if the concepts within it are non-linear, you have to process it linearly. So it's a simpler challenge than trying to do a dozen different things at once. And I have a few different things on my mind right now. I mentioned yesterday that I'm doing marketing consulting, so I have clients, and I'm also, I want to update my first book, Friendly Ambitious Nerd. So to do that, I want to reread the book again, which I did a scan of, and then summarize that book for myself. And maybe I'll share the summary and I could add it to the book itself. Like currently, I have version 1 of the book when you buy my book on Gumroad, you get version 1 of the book. And I feel like it's not very well edited, so I feel like it could use a kind of companion. So I think I might do that. So write up like a companion piece, and then at some point I want to update it to version 1.1, which will be to add new sections and add new stuff. I also want to do my Substack, which, my first post was called We Were Voyagers. I'm very happy with that. I thought that was very well done. And my second post, I think I'm being too ambitious about it. There's just very grandiose set of things that I want to do. And I feel like, I'm always torn between I want to do something grand, and because I want to kind of break new ground in some way for myself, but the grand thing is too big, so I have to figure out the project management of how do I take the grand thing and figure out sort of the steps in between. And I guess as I'm saying this out loud now, I realize that what I should be doing is I should be figuring out what the fuck I want to say. You always have to figure out what it is that you're trying to do. And it can't just be, I want to do everything. Like, what is the point of the everything? What is, you have to prioritize. You have to know what the message is. You have to, so with the first thing I mentioned, updating Friendly Ambitious Nerd, the point of that, I know, is that, the existing status of the book, it's just undercooked. It's like a misshapen pot. And I have learned a bunch of things since then, and I feel that the book can be a lot stronger. And, I just want to make it right. What does make it right mean? I think, when I wrote the book, I mainly wanted to just present my best self publicly, right? I was thinking, I want to publish some book. Ideally, the book should represent me well because people are going to introduce me as the author of the book. And so if they're going to do that, then I would like to be introduced in a way that I feel was representative to me. So I came out with Friendly Ambitious Nerd, and I thought that was really good. And since then, I when I published it, I wasn't super clear about like, what is this? Is this a manifesto? Is it a biography? Is it it's kind of just a mishmash of my Twitter threads and blog posts that people have said that they liked, that I felt was worth presenting in this format. And I think what I was getting at, without realizing that that's what I was getting at, is that it's kind of a framework for, interfacing. It's a frame. It's a kind of. So what is an interface, right? It's your face and my face, or the face of the tool that you're using. It's interfacing, and yeah, Friendly Ambitious Nerd, I think it's a way of interfacing, right? It's a world. I don't want to say it's a world view, and again, if you say philosophy, people ask, what's your philosophy? But the word philosophy technically means love of wisdom. So it's like, what's your love of wisdom? It doesn't really mean anything. It's just, we kind of just mash the words together, and they seem close enough. But I like to be precise with my words. So, you could say that Friendly Ambitious Nerd is a should be a guide for nerds in some ways on how to interface with other people. I think that's going to be part of it. But it's really just a way of engaging with the world. You know, a way of processing information, of navigating the world, making a sense, figuring out your place in things, contextualizing yourself, conceptualizing yourself, and contextualizing yourself. I think that's what Friendly Ambitious Nerd is about. That's pretty good, right? So, updating Friendly Ambitious Nerd will be about helping the book get better at helping people conceptualize and contextualize themselves. That's cool. That was not in the first book because I didn't know what I was doing at the time. So I now know how I want to improve FAN. So what's next? Okay, that's cool. I think I just clarified something for myself there about the task ahead for Friendly Ambitious Nerd. What about my Substack? You know, what is it that I'm trying to do with this very grand post about mythologies and timelines? And you know, it's almost like I'm trying to condense an entire blog into a single blog post. And there isn't really a way of doing that except maybe by writing out the posts or writing out the threads. And I have a bunch of threads, and then I got to collect the threads together in one place, and then what? And then what? I got to figure out what the story is, right? There's always a story, there's always a sense, there's always, what is this for? What is this trying to help you see? What is this trying to help you do? What is the mythology? I had this idea of a post about the pantheon of Wojaks, but I don't feel super strongly about it. You know, that feels like a sub post rather than the main post. And I guess it's a follow-up to We Were Voyagers. I don't know, I gotta think about this a bit more. I might make a separate video about that maybe, but that's a thing that I'm circling around, and I'll figure it out eventually, but it's not coming to me yet. What else? I mentioned my marketing blog, did I? So I have clients now that I have to follow up with, and I already feel better after having made yesterday's video, because I now have more conviction and confidence that I am going to work with some clients. I had a text exchange with one client this morning. It felt really good. I'm convinced that it's going to go well, and I'm going to write a post based on that exchange. I think that's the thing I'm going to do when I get home. I'm going to write a post based on that exchange to help talk with other clients and just kind of clarify my process a bit further. So I won't be working on Fan 1.1 tonight, but I will write down what I said earlier so that I can kind of plan out my next steps. So now it's like instead of having one book to work on, I have like a dozen different projects. I can't even bring them all up in the context of this video. But okay, let's just say I have 4 projects, right? Because those are things that I brought up. So update Friendly Ambitious Nerd, go on more podcasts and interviews for Introspect. I have some intellect salons I'm planning to do. I want to interview some people for the II's YouTube channel. I want to talk to more people, read more books. Right? There's a bunch of stuff on my list. And yeah, so I just want to have all these things laid out and then have a sense of why I'm doing it. I think that's probably the thing that I should learn, right? Is that I need to articulate my purpose to myself, because I need to persuade myself to get myself to act. I can't just have a bunch of stuff in front of me and then be annoyed with myself for not getting things done. Right? Yeah, I think that's probably how I would describe my learnings. Yeah, I have to persuade myself to get things done.